What is up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel, and as you recall, last week I did a little bit of a Zant on the title update that came out in November. I actually followed up that video with a little bit of a short talking about today's YouTube upload, which is my favorite part of the November patch. And that is going to be a developer note that was buried way below all the drama, addressing check and release routes. Now, for those that don't know, the note says, fixed an issue sometimes allowing unblocked defenders when using block and release routes in empty formations. And the developer note in italics says, eligible receivers with a block and release assignment will not go out until their route until they have at least made contact with the blitzing defender that they are targeting. The blocker will stay in for the engagement, and then after a very short period of time, release out on the route. Now, believe it or not, this is not just empty formations. This is why I'm so upset.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
It's not just empty formations, it's all formations. It's not just stock delay routes, it's all delay routes. These routes are back in a way that is so important towards this meta that I really hope that you guys are at least labbing these into your offense. And if you're not, I'm going to show you guys how to at least get the ball rolling a little bit for you guys in this video. Now, before we get into it, if you guys could do me a favor, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, check the notification bell, drop a comment below to help push this video out in the algorithm. I really appreciate all the support you guys have shown here on the channel, and I hope that you guys will keep rocking with me into the winter here in Madden 24. All right, let's go ahead and get at it here. I'm going to show you guys just how these work universally. You guys don't really have to worry about offensive and defensive game plans here or what playbook I'm in. So what we're going to do here is we're going to run the double slot corner blitz meta. This is the most common meta that we see every year. It's out of Dollar, DB Fire 2. If you guys don't know it, you probably don't play a whole heck of a lot of online, but that's okay. Let's go ahead here and show you how this works. So with this particular defense, obviously we know this is a heavy pinch the defense, kind of mug, try to get these slot corners in free. This formation here is the Trey Y flex halfback strong, and this plays jet chip wasp, which actually has two pretty good delay routes on it. And you guys can kind of freestyle from this however you see fit. A lot of people are going to go street corner flat to the wide side of the field with their trips. But what's really cool about this is that I have these two delay routes. Now, what I typically would do in this situation is, now that we know that these routes are going to stay in until they block somebody, I just want to slide protect to the right. And what that's going to do is that's going to tell Kyle Pitts to look out for the right slot. And it's going to tell the running back to block the edge rusher opposite of our slide protection, which would actually be the other slot corner. If you guys really want to, for good measure, pull up your ID the mic and throw that logo on that player, and this will block, chip, and then release on all of those slot corner blitzes. Now, in terms of coverage shell, obviously the user in most of these defenses kind of gets a little bit overzealous. They tend to cover the middle of the field in a big way. They're very likely to kind of drop into the deep middle and kind of worry about posts and crossers. And that's what's going to make this so good, is that this little check and release by Pitts is going to be so available to us in the middle of the field right off the drop. You see that this is the cheapest 10 yards you can get. You don't even have to try. It's just a little block, and then they release out into the middle of the field. And then likewise on the other side with the running back, he's going to be a player that's going to stay in next to the quarterback, protecting him until he makes contact with that slot corner, and then he's going to get out on his route as well. So you see right here, we were able to kind of use a 7-man protection with our guys then leaking out late in the play, giving us open check downs against the coverage. This is so important when you factor in that the main meta right now is to basically play 30-yard zone drops on the outside and send pressure, or you're playing mabel coverage, which leaves that middle of the field where the delay fades can get kind of frisky wide open. So this is going to be a great tip for this portion of the Madden season, as this meta, whether it be the blitz meta or the coverage meta, starts to take hold. And pretty much everyone's doing this mabel coverage. So let's go ahead and get right into that. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to run, obviously a lot of players love their mabel. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to call this single back deuce close bench. This is conceptual. I don't even run this formation in my playbook, but I'm going to set up that 5-30 mabel that so many players like to run. And we'll run this out of the 4-3 over, or the 4-3 even 6-1 here in this. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to be one of those defenses where, with this being pinched, it doesn't necessarily do us a lot of good, but we can still run our corner routes that really hold those 30-yard blues. And then what we could do is kind of put our tight ends on delay flats or even delay fades, depending on what the user is doing. So in one flat, I'll use a delay flat. In the other side, I'll use a delay fade. And from there, maybe you go ahead and put the running back on a streak or whatever out of the backfield. This would be good in the event that they're ready for the tight end delay fade, gives you something low to the left side of the field. But what you're going to see is these guys are going to kind of hang out, look to release, and then you see that they're right down the middle of the field. If they block a blitzer, great. If they don't, they wait just long enough and then release down the middle of the field, and there's no hook zone in those Mabel defenses ready to react to them. So in this situation here, you see exactly what we're looking at. No need to block anybody. They wait for a little short 2 to 3 count, and then they release out over the middle of the field. And you see that that's a wide open inside pass lead. Now, in this example, I kind of used 2 of them. Really, you could kind of just bait the user to the left or the right by blocking one tight end on a delay route and then sending the other one out on another route. You might be able to kind of catch them off guard. So I'll simulate what that would be like. Maybe we do something kind of like this on the left side with a delay fade on the right. And the design of that would be wholeheartedly to make the user freak out towards the left side of the field. So what we'll do here is I will kind of put Keekly, who's our pseudo user, in man on that player. And what you're going to do is you snap the ball. You see that he kind of releases. Now, boom, you got this inside pass lead down the middle, and it's going to be wide open. You see how big the yardage is after the catch on something so simple as a delay fade down the middle against Mabel coverage. So you could utilize these routes as well to kind of release into the soft areas of the zone when your opponents are playing that heavy Mabel, and kind of bait the user left or right by having one player run a route that's going to pull the user and then the other player leak out late, whether it's down the seam or over the middle. Which brings me to my next point. A lot of players are going to blitz you too. So with this, if your opponent is kind of playing that heavier blitz meta, maybe they're sending 6 and kind of jumping the first thing that moves over to the maybe the left side of the screen, for instance. Here we're going to go ahead and I'll put this guy into a hard flat to mimic the user jumping out to the left side. This is going to be a great opportunity for you guys to utilize a delay cross route if that user is vacating the shallow middle of the field. So let's say for whatever reason I want to run, you know, like some sort of flooding combo. It doesn't really matter. Maybe a flat or whatever, wheel flat combo. What I would do is I would put Pitts on a delay cross route and maybe even slide protect left and ID right. And what that will do is that will make it so that the player that is the farthest right rusher becomes our tight end's responsibility. And the goal here is to make sure that he chips him and then releases over the middle. So you see right here, that's exactly what we can do. And if that user isn't sitting home in the middle of the field, we could throw a simple drag off a delay and pick up almost a first down against this coverage. Again, a lot of these defenses leave so much to the middle of the field to the user, and they have to guess whether or not it's going to be a vertical release, a drag, or a flat. It's going to be a little tough. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. This is something you can scheme in out of darn near any offense in the game, so long as you have the ability to have a tight end attached. I think it's worth installing in your offense. These are about as safe a block and release as we've had in the last few years, and I think it's time that you guys start scheming them back in, especially against this heavier zone blitz and this Mabel coverage meta. It's got great application in both facets. Until tomorrow, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.